A very good morning from what is a very cloudy, dreary, awful day here in Manchester, but at least we've not got any of the rain, or should I say, not yet. There's a possibility that some may arrive, but we'll wait and see. What I want to talk to you today about is something that was spurred by a news item I was watching the other day regarding the Patriot Act in America, which some of my American viewers may or may not be aware of how much it's restricting your freedoms and what the land of the free is becoming the land of the governed to a certain extent. So I kind of thought what I would do, I would counterbalance the Patriot Act with what is going on here in the UK. I mean, the Patriot Act is causing so much upset in America, and quite rightly so. And I think it's incumbent on all American citizens to uphold your freedoms in the same way as you did in 1776 against us, the British. And you seem to be letting your government, State Department, everybody else take away your freedoms without you really noticing. But here in the UK, we're not escaping the jaws of government control. What I mean by that is you may be aware, you probably are aware, that we, a small island nation in the North Atlantic, are the most surveilled country on the planet. Yes, you heard me correctly, the most surveilled country on the planet. We spend hundreds of millions of pounds every year on CCTV cameras that monitor us morning, noon and night in every possible situation that you can imagine a human being to be in, whether that be the workplace, leisure activities, shopping, or so on and so forth. It is thought that here in Britain, a normal person is caught on CCTV on average 300 times per day. Yes, per day. Not per week, not per month, not per year, per day. Which means that we have very little privacy. Now, the laws would actually have us believe that that is there for our security, that we are protected by these cameras and that our images are not used for anything else other than security of both us, the individual, and indeed the state. And they would also say that they help in fighting crime. Now, I don't know about you, but when I've seen CCTV pictures on crime fighting programs, as it were, they have one in Britain here on the BBC called Crime Watch, they will show CCTV footage, and it's so grainy, it may well be the abominable snowman that is robbing somebody or attacking somebody or holding up a shop or whatever. So it does beg the question, why are they so necessary? They would also have us believe that it helps in the reduction of the terrorist threat here in Britain. Well, that's also a possibility, of course, that we are all flagged as we go along. I wouldn't be surprised that at some point in the near future they will put a law in place where it will monitor retina recognition, so that we'll know even further who we are and where we are and what we're doing. We are a captive population, not only by these cameras, but also by the geographical outlay of our country. We are a little island surrounded by sea. We are also here in Britain being forced, ever so gently, but forced nevertheless, to enter the EU, the European Union, which has not had anything, in my view, other than a negative effect on Britain since the common market was brought into place in the early 1970s. And what is happening at the moment is that the European Union are trying to bring together all law in the European Union, all police forces under the banner of Europol, the European Police Force. And they're also trying to ensure that all criminal cases are heard in a European criminal court. Now, what that actually means for us is that you bear in mind that we're not full members of the European Union. We are not in continental Europe, where France and Germany and Belgium and Holland are. We don't use the euro, the official EU currency. We still use the finest of your British pounds. But what is happening is that we are being forced under this umbrella. Now, what is happening with the European court aspect of it, the English law is under threat. And when I say English law, I mean the process of English law, the way our courts run. We brought basically justice to the world. That all first world countries, even ones, the courts in America and Australia, are built on a model here in Britain. So the way that we operate through habeas corpus, etc., is under threat. Our Bill of Rights is under threat because that is the way that we run our country, and all the rights and freedoms accorded to the citizens of the United Kingdom will be overwritten by the European Union Charter. And even our greatest document, the Magna Carta, will also be overwritten and overpowered and overruled. Now, you put this into some frame of reference. The Magna Carta is a document that's 800 years old. 800. Now, the purpose of the Magna Carta was a document to protect the citizen, the person of the land here in Britain, under their own rights and privileges as being citizens of the British Isles against the state. So in those days, of course, it was just the British Isles, i.e. the state, that the state could not force a citizen to do anything that was illegal or immoral and therefore wrong. The citizen would actually have the right of protection. What is going to happen, of course, with the European Union Charter is that will be overwritten and Magna Carta will be abolished to a certain extent. And what will happen there, of course, is that we no longer will have the protection of Magna Carta. That will be taken away because of the European Charter. So what is happening here, of course, very similar to the Patriot Act, is that all our freedoms and our rights as the citizens of the British Isles, although we are a separate entity, both geographically, monetarily, and governmentally, separate from the EU, we are being pulled in to the EU, and our rights and freedoms are being absorbed by the European Union based in Brussels or Strasbourg. What is also happening here right now, which I find a little bit disturbing, is that the government are wanting to force all the internet providers here in the UK to hang on to our browsing history. Yes, when we use the internet, wherever we browse, whether it be YouTube or eBay or Amazon or whatever other sites that we might visit during the course of our home time, as it were, the government want all the internet service providers to hang on to our records so that they can peruse our browsing history at their leisure. Now, they would say, again, very much like the CCTV, of course, is that that will ensure our safety, that they will allow them to track people who are maybe looking on the internet to make a bomb, perhaps, or how to smuggle one through an X-ray machine at an airport, for instance. But as a percentage of the population, the people who will want to do that, of course, is very, very small. What about the rest of us? What about the rest of us as far as our privacy is concerned? We make every effort we can as internet users to ensure that all the sites that we visit have that little yellow padlock in the corner to show that it's a secure site and that our browsing is fine and that we have access to delete our browsing history if we want to on our laptops or desktops or whatever. We're all fully aware that your browsing history is never fully erased, but there you go. But the government want to bring in a law to ensure that ISPs will hand over any and all browsing history of us, the free citizens of the United Kingdom, to them should they require it. Now, that gives you some idea into what is going on here in the UK regarding our freedoms. What is also happening, which is quite an interesting one, where the European Union is concerned, where they're trying to bring us in under this umbrella of European law, they are bringing in something called a European arrest warrant. Now, a European arrest warrant, as the name suggests, is a warrant issued by the European Union or the International Criminal Court to Europol. Europol can then go into any European state country, arrest a person from that European state country and take them to a central location in continental Europe where that person can be held in custody for anything up to, wait for it, 4 years without charge. So the Europol can go out there and arrest somebody without evidence, on suspicion only, return them to a secret location somewhere in Europe and hold that person potentially for 4 years without charge. And their argument is that that time limit is in place to give them sufficient time to find proof that that person was actually doing what they think they were doing. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but is somebody not innocent until proven guilty? Have I heard that somewhere? I think I have. And what these people are seeming to do is they are presuming guilt before innocence. And they want to force this European arrest warrant into British law, which British law in effect will be dismissed and European law will take its place. And it isn't guaranteed that you will be tried in a British court. You could be tried in a Bulgarian court or a Romanian court or a Chechen Republic court or wherever, you know, where their legal process is not as sophisticated as ours here in the UK or France or Holland or Germany, the more established countries of Europe. So slowly but surely here in Britain, our freedoms are being taken away. So America, don't feel that you are on your own and independent of all the persecutions that the Patriot Act is taking over your country. It is happening here in this small little island in the North Atlantic, and we are being forced into doing certain things that really we shouldn't be forced into doing because we've not signed up for this. It's just being assumed that we're going to do it and being led like sheep to the slaughter. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Personally, I'm appalled. I mean, I am a great believer in personal freedoms. I go by the edict that I may not agree with what you say, but I will fight to the death for your right to say it. And I think the day is coming soon where free speech will not be allowed. Right now we are fortunate in Britain here. If I wanted to go out into the street and shout at the top of my voice that the Queen was a lesbian, I wouldn't be arrested. But I do feel that those days perhaps are coming to an end. So anyway, let me know what you think. Let me know in America what your feelings are about the Patriot Act and how it's affecting you as a person, how it's affecting your town, what's actually happening. Is anything happening in your state as the state legislature changing for the worse? It's certainly changing here for the worse. Anyway, that's it for this one. As always, thank you very much for watching. Any questions, queries, suggestions for this kind of nonsense? Drop them down below and I shall speak to you again soon. Oh, by the way, if you like this one, give it a thumbs up, which will counter the inevitable thumbs down. Thank you very much indeed. I'll speak to you again soon. Bye bye.